it can really open many doors. You can have way more opportunities. I'm also talking about job opportunities. I've seen many people changing their life by just using social media. This doesn't mean that you have to talk about coding 24/7. You can make sure jokes, memes. I also do this sometimes. Absolutely focus on a niche. Okay, well, why should I follow Sanskar?
Hi, Francesco. You're an amazing person. Thanks for being here. How are you, man?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm getting ready for a stream, but it's a pleasure to have to talk with you before that. And yes, I'm here. I'm Francesco. I'm from Rome, and I'm 38. And I stayed too much time on Twitter last 2 years. This is the short version of my bio.
Awesome, awesome. You talk a lot about social media presence. So, do you think that it's important for a developer to have a good online presence?
I think this can really change your life. In my case, it changed my life in a good sense. You don't have to, but it can really open many doors because once you are connected with all the world, it's just your town. Even if you live in a big city, you you can have way more opportunities. I'm also talking about job opportunities, not just knowing someone else. And a lot of connections, a lot of people that I met on Twitter, I started to work with them. There are many cases. Simon Hoiberg for FeedHive, Daily.dev when I'm working now.
Yes.
It has been one of the 138 people that I've interviewed. I interviewed Nimrod Kramer in January 2021, and now I'm working for him since a couple of months. So you don't know. And in January I didn't have and I was still working full time. So by the way, I quit my job in March 2021. Um, so can really change your life, but it's important to think that you should use social media for what you really want. If you're struggling finding a job, then you should act to find a job. If you are okay, maybe don't use social media just to share your hate. Maybe avoid that. I will not suggest you to do that. But in other cases, you can use for whatever you want. But I've seen many people changing their life by just using social media. Yeah, this has nothing to do with content creation. It's something different. Sometimes they are the opposite. So Nobel Prizes without a Twitter account, that's totally fine. But if you have a social media, it can really help you, especially if you are young. I think I started too late, but I always say that if you think that you have started something too late, you are on the right path.
Right.
So
Right. Awesome, awesome. Francesco, you started a Twitter account or you started documenting your journey in the January of 2020. And now you have about 60K followers. So, what can you say about creating an online presence effectively? What tips do you have?
this is a great question. Um, First of all, you should focus. So let's talk about Twitter. Of course, any social media has different strategies. What I know
Yes.
more is Twitter. So focus. So I started to unfollow all the people, like let's say like famous people, actors. Elon Musk, I'm sorry, Elon. I don't know, people on football, other people, because I wanted to focus on something, and I think the best solution is to focus on what you also do. If you are a makeup artist, you should follow makeup artists, so you connect with them. And this doesn't mean that you have to talk about coding 24/7. You can make sure jokes, memes. I also do this sometimes. It depends
Yes.
on the periods. But if you connect with people with the same interests, even if you joke, even if you say something different, you can also talk about just what you have done today. This really changed my approach on social media. When I opened Twitter, I'm talking about January and February 2020. So I had like just some hundreds of followers. Okay, when I was opening Twitter, I said, okay, so now I know that I'll talk about coding, and I know that I'm connected with developers. because otherwise there are. But if you start connecting with just the people with the same interests, something good will happen. And so I started to share ideas, share some JavaScript tips, Git tips, Docker tips, start to see how they share content, because this is also important, because you see how they share their knowledge, how they create stuff, threads, formats. It's because otherwise, if you start seeing all different things, it's very hard to grow unless you are already famous. If you're already famous, if you open a YouTube account, you will have 1 million subscribers the day after. But for normal people, as of course I am, it's better to focus for a period. If you focus for a period, I'm saying like months, not years. If you focus for 3 or 4 months, for sure you will grow a lot. Yeah.
Do you think that it's important for a developer to have a YouTube channel?
Important, yeah, I think yes. For me, it really changed my approach. I think this will be on YouTube, right?
Yes.
So this advice is also for you. Yes, I think yes. Especially because in that case you understand the effort. For example, when I started my YouTube channel, I started to like and comment way more on on the videos. So when you start, so this would be a good idea for the people who already have a YouTube channel. And of course, I'm saying YouTube, but this can also be Twitch or sharing videos on Twitter. It doesn't really matter. But sharing what you know, I think it's one of the secrets to, let's say, be successful, or at least be noticed. Because we are here. I don't consider myself a YouTuber, even if probably I said this sometimes. More an introvert tuber, but we can talk about this if you want. But I think it's more about sharing, what you know, not just doing this for views or other people. Because if you share what you know, at least you have that, and then you'll see some opportunities. So yeah, that's it. I suggest to at least start. I've interviewed more than 100 people, and I think sometimes I also done a poll like, have you started creating videos and you like that? Just like 100%. They started making videos and they don't like that. Instead, there are like 50% of the people, they'd like to start and they have never started. So this should mean something. Maybe you are in the 1% of the people who have started making videos and they don't like that. But let's say that I think it's worth a try. You can always remove the video. You can always, to be honest, the major blockers, maybe this is also for you, this also was for me, was the fear of judgment. So you fear that someone will judge you. Let me tell you something which maybe is a bit sad, but this can also help you. Nobody really cares about your videos in the beginning. So probably we have the opposite problem. Nobody is watching them, because if we have someone criticizing us, at least they are watching the video. So yes, and I think that creating a video, maybe 20 years ago, it was strange to publish a video. I'm talking about my generation. For me, it was super strange. Now maybe for the younger people, it's less strange, but I always say this, like, let's normalize all the YouTube videos, because we are just trying this. I don't know you, but they didn't teach me how to make YouTube videos in school. So I have to create everything all by myself. Yeah.
So what do you think? We should focus on a niche, or we can post on a variety of topics even if we are starting off?
I'll say absolutely focus on a niche. For various reasons, I also created some threads about this. First of all, because if you create something for free, you can't do this all day long, unless your parents are millionaires. No, it's not my case. So if you have a lot of time, you can just sit on a couch and you can create content all day long. Probably you can have different topics. There are some exceptions, I think just one or two. like Traversi Media and Ninja and other people, they create different type of content and it's high quality. But we're
Yes.
talking about 2 or 3 developers in all the world that I know.
Yep.
The rest of the people that I know that they are successful, they focus on just something. Python engineer, Dennis Ivey, Gary Simon, design courses, and yes. So it's more about focusing on something. I think it's the best solution. Focus at least for some months. I'm not saying that to focus on something for
Yes.
20 years. In that case, you will be super specialized.
Yes.
I think that one of the problems of developers is this one that you just check something, you change the topic every week, and you'll never be an expert in any topic. This has also been my problem, by the way, in the beginning.
Yes.
So now, for example, I focus on Docker stuff. For example, my Twitch account, I make a live stream today. I stream usually on Saturday on Twitch. They are always related to DevOps and Docker. If I create an interview, everything else, I do that on YouTube, everything else.
Okay.
But I focus on something. So in that, for example, the Docker official Docker company, they've noticed that this Twitch channel because there is a Docker in the title of the channel. So it makes sense.
Yes.
This is focusing on a niche is good because if you want to focus if you want to follow someone, say, okay, well, why should I follow Sanskar? You should give me a reason. Okay, so why? Okay, so you make TypeScript videos. Okay, I want to learn TypeScript. I follow him. Otherwise, it's very hard. Once you have an audience, you can switch a focus, switch topic. You maybe better to switch is to expand. For example, now I'm creating. I started making Docker and JavaScript tutorials. Now I'm doing Docker and Python tutorials because it's always Docker related, and then I expand on other languages. For example, this is what I'm doing now.
Yes. So let's talk about students. Is it important for students to create content, and what kind of content can they make?
Okay. First of all, I think that one of my regrets it has been not creating a social media account when I was a student because this is another sad truth. Usually, the free time or the time that we can use in our life it tends to decrease in the years, probably because we have a family, we have more responsibilities, we have a house. I live in a house alone. I feel good, but you have more responsibilities. You will notice this in the years. I don't want to make a spoiler, but usually that's it. So the students' years are, for me, are perfect to start a social media. I know many people, they share their knowledge at 17, 16, 13. Very, very good. They're very smart. So, and you should just share what you are studying. There's nothing shame with that. So, and maybe if you focus on development, it's also a good idea. So totally do that. I think the best solution will be to have like a side project and you work on that publicly. That's perfect.
Awesome.
Even if it fails, you show you are training in making live streams. Take this just an exercise to, I don't know, like to test the cameras. Also, what you're doing now, you're doing interviews. You need to to handle all the stuff with programs, and also sometimes you have some problems. So the more problems you face, the more you know what's the best for you. Because it's a word. Maybe you are starting to see that. Yeah.
Also, what platforms can students use? Is it necessary to write blogs or make videos or both? What's your take on that?
Okay, maybe it's a stereotype, but a lot of developers are also introvert people, and I am one of them for sure, still now. So, in my opinion, if you don't know what to do, I would just start a Twitter account. Because I'm saying this because this is what worked for me. Of course, you ask me this. If you ask this to a TikTok influencer, probably they'll suggest you TikTok, but that's normal. So I suggest you to start Twitter for various reasons. First of all, you can connect with a lot of people. Twitter never hurts. You can decide how you want to create content. So I would like to, in my opinion, it's better to start creating the social presence, and then after, don't wait for years. Wait some months, and then you start creating content. In my case, I was really scared about making videos, so I started writing articles. That's not a problem, of course. It's a different media, but at least you make this switch to content creation, the switch of
Yes.
mindset.
Yes.
So I would suggest start small, because sometimes you feel overwhelmed. You can't just go from zero to making, I don't know, like live streams on Twitch. That would be, I don't know. It
Yes.
depends on your personality, of course. For me, it would have been if I had some heart attack probably. So it's a slow process of coming out. That's it.
Yes.
Start with Twitter. Start is simple.
Okay. Also, Francesco, students feel that there are already thousands of blogs, thousands of videos on this particular topic. So, what difference will my blog or my one video make? So, what do you have to say on that?
Yeah, there are also a lot of songs, but people start keeps they keep
Yes.
creating them.
Yes.
Why? Because it's your blog. It's how you do things. There are thousands of podcasts, but this is your podcast, Sanskar. For example, I
Yes.
have
Yes.
mine. I create my interview series to talk with people because I like to talk with them, and I hope this is the same for you. So this is something very personal, because we are always we are all sharing the same knowledge, more or less.
Yes.
If we you and me, we create a, don't know, like tutorial how to remove an element in an array in JavaScript, probably the code will be the same, but maybe we will have a different approach. Maybe you create a longer article, I create a shorter, or also with pictures, or not. And then you will attract one kind of people, and I'll attract another one. And let me tell you something good for content creators. Usually, the people who consume content, which are not bad people, by the way, they're just studying. Um, they like to learn from different sources. For example, this is what I do. If I
Yes.
want to learn something, I read not just one blog, but like three or
Yes.
four. Don't exaggerate, but usually you take more than one. You check more than one video. So why not? And the best reason, to be honest, is that usually probably you will come back at that article in a couple of months and you'll see, this article is very well written. Who wrote that? Ah, it's me, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Francesco, you're vastly experienced. You've also had talks with people like David, like Gary Simon, big YouTubers, big developers. So, what do you find is the
The new Boston.
common?
The new Boston also. Let's say, let's not forget him. Yes.
Yes. So, what do you find is the common thought process or common thing that you find that they do to get better each day?
Okay. What I noticed that for them, by the way, they are developers who are also content creators. Are we talking about this? What I've noticed is they don't overthink too much. They just start, and then people follow them. So they are really, we can say, leaders in what they do. So they don't, no, 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 they don't watch videos all day long. They create videos. If they have an idea, they
Yes.
create something. So it's not that easy. Not easy at all. You have to be experienced. You have to know how to edit, or you have to someone to kind of design something. So they have a very strong mindset. So they say, okay, so I create this and then create that, and then the day after they start over again. So yeah, it's not for everyone. For example, I'm something in the middle. I have just 5,000 on YouTube, but I'm happy for what I've done. It's not about the number of subscribers, of course.
Yes, definitely.
It's YouTube. Yeah, you to let's say to crack the YouTube algorithm, you have to dedicate a lot of time. I am just a developer advocate who also creates videos. I'll do a live stream in 30 minutes, by the way.
Yeah.
And yes, so what I think is that they have a strong mindset. And as developer, I think that a great quality that you can have is curiosity. So you should always be curious of what you do. The most successful developers, even if they are not content creators, they have this character trait, we can say.
Awesome. Francesco, you post about a various variety of topics like blockchain, DevOps, Docker. So how do you learn effectively? How do you keep on learning?
Yeah, I've always been learning, but also 5 years ago. What is different now is that before I was just don't like read an article, watch a couple of videos, then I go to bed. then I went to bed. Now I read an article, watch a video, I create a piece of content, and then I go to bed. So basically, I'm sleeping less now. and but that time that I dedicate to also create a content when I learn, it will. I know that now it will help me in the future because now I've done something. It's like when if you just read a book without doing an exercise, it's harder to keep that in your brain, in your mind. Instead, if you read, watch, and then you create something, even if you don't publish, but at least you write something, it will help you in the future. So I added this step because now we can say that I have now this mindset of the content creator. um, I already know that this will help me in the future. So at least I write
Yes.
something down. I don't publish that every time, but usually I
Okay.
write something down when I learn now, and probably in the future I'll share that.
Awesome. In terms of coding, if we talk, then how do you prefer to learn? Do you prefer like learn, and then build, or just learn and build straight away?
Yeah, when I started, I was the the former person who said like learn, and stop. Also, just learn without even sharing. Now, it's totally the approach is totally different. As soon as I learn something, I like to share that. So it's the process is way simpler now, and I think this is way more yeah, effective. It has a better effect, and it's um, it's better to share this as soon as possible, and also to build as soon as possible. Yeah, I know that there are some very bad series on Netflix, but I think it's better to. No, I'm joking. It's like you. I just want to say that it's you should not watch tutorials like if it were like serious, unless it's Taversi Media. In that case, you can also find watch them on a Friday night. But joking, of course, you should always code along, take notes, create content by yourself.
Awesome. Francesco, you are a big personality on YouTube, about 60K followers, and around 2 years of into content creation. So, what has been your biggest learning in this content creation journey?
I've learned that to create content, it takes a lot of time. This is what I learned. I learned that sharing content can really change your life. It changed also the approach of the people because when you share what you know, even if you are not the best one, I've noticed that people they tend to to listen to you because we can all we can all just I don't know like we fake that you are experts, but if you are showing that even if you're not an expert, you know something and you share your ideas, and also in my live streams, I'll have one soon. Um, usually some people they come in your live stream, they help you, of course. Doing a live
Yes.
stream doesn't make you a better person. You know something, probably you know something, and something you really don't know. This is totally normal. This is why teamwork is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I learned, that you are learning even if when you do live streams and when you create content. You don't have to be a super expert. Of course, if you're an expert, it will be easier for you to create content. If you ask me something about Docker now, probably I don't have to study a lot. So this is the advantage. But you can create content on anything you want.
Also, Francesco, you have spent a significant amount of time in the industry, coding and developing. So, you must have had your ups and downs. So, what is it that you have learned that you want to avoid in the future? Things that you need to take care of in the future.
This is a great question. Let's go back to my unpaid internship example. I made this unpaid internship for about 6 months, and since my parents were not millionaires, and I also had to work, I was working in the gym. So basically, my life was just waking up at 5 a.m. How is I waking up at 5 a.m.? So I went to this job, 3 hours of commute, working 8 hours. Then at 6 p.m. I was stopped working. Then I went to my gym, worked until 10, 11 p.m. And then I was also cleaning the gym. It was like living in a film. I don't know if you ever seen like that film when that guy works hard. It was exactly that guy. Um, and at the end of these 6 months, I was literally exhausted. I said, okay, so I will not code anymore in my life. I was wrong, by the way, spoiler. But I had to stop for about 1 year. So for 1 year, I haven't touched a piece of code because uh, probably I've done too much. So okay, this is just my story. This you can apply this to something else. So for example, if you are working, if you are coding, it's better to balance instead of just doing something for a period of time. Then you have to take a very long break. So yeah, probably it would have been better. I don't know, maybe leave that unpaid internship, or maybe balance my life in a better way. So find the balance. It's something that now I feel that I'm close to balance this well, or at least yeah, I focus on what I really want to do. Remove stuff. The best days of my life is when I remove applications, remove something that I want to do, but I say, okay, so I thought that was useful, instead it's not. Then it's also your case, but the best days of my week is that, okay, let's remove this. I feel so good.
Awesome. You said that you are about to reach or you are near to reaching your work life balance, or that balance bit in life. So how do you manage time effectively?
But by not sleeping. No, joking, of course. It's but we are close, because I think that sleep is very important. I have this, let's say, mind trick. I wake up very early in the morning. I woke up at 4 a.m. about this, but not because I had to do this interview. And of course, I go to bed early, because I think doing, I don't know, in the early morning, I think at my activities, I'm way more productive. I've noticed that after dinner, I'm not productive at all. So sometimes I do something, but very relaxed. So since it's like that, for me, of course, I prefer to do a lot of stuff before, let's say, 10 a.m. So, for example, today after 10 a.m., I already have done a live stream, created some stuff for Twitter. So
Yes.
this is this is a mind trick, of course, because we have the similar life, similar time of hours to sleep, and yes, and always go on priorities. We can make a very good to-do list, a very
Yep.
perfect good to-do list. Then our house is set on fire, and we have to stop that to-do list, and we have to to turn that fire off. So this is a joke, but an example on how at the end of the day we always go on priorities. We can make a good plan, but
Yes.
then I don't know, if we break a leg, we need to go to the hospital. That's this is not
Yes.
something that we can stop.
Yes.
Yeah, life is what happens when you are trying to do something. This is that's called life. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Francesco. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking out time for me and the community and sharing your experience that you have gained over the past few years. Do you have any closing notes for the community?
Yes, we are talking about social media presence and also content creation. So they are totally they are two different things. So you can be super knowledgeable but not having a Twitter account. Maybe some Nobel prizes they don't have even a Twitter account. They have like 100 followers. I don't know, 1,000. Instead, building a social presence, let's say for normal people, as I am, of course, can really change your life, can open up to a lot of new opportunities. So you can build your online presence. I also suggest you, if you want, you can join our community of content creators. So we help each other. we collaborate, we share ideas. Also, this interview is a collaboration with me, with Sanskar in this community. So I also suggest you this, try that. And yes, keep going and focus on, I would suggest to focus on something for a period of life. I'm not saying decades, I'm saying like months. So I don't know, like now you like this Web3 world, focus on that for 6 months, 4 months, and then you will see the result. But you have to laser focus on that, and without going out of focus after 1 week. And
Yeah.
I highly suggest this. Then once you are, let's say, famous when you have an audience, then you can talk with your audience and say, okay, so maybe you're also interested into that. For example, my blockchain thread. Now I've done this because I've seen that a lot of people, they are way interested more in the blockchain now.
Yes.
But for example, I was not sharing this some years ago. But now I can do this. If I would start Twitter today, probably I'll just focus on Web3, NFT,
Mm.
and blockchain stuff. So this is what I'll do now.